Hey there, welcome to our monthly market update. Today we are talking power buyers, median home price, and coastal cities. What? We live in the desert. We're talking about coastal cities? Yep, that's what we're talking about today. Hey there, it's Eileen and Aundrea, and we are bringing you our monthly market update. And we're so happy to be here because I think the real estate market right now is amazing. I know that people are worried about it, but I'm not worried about it. And I think just because I have a little bit of life, experience, not to, spill too much information, but I turned 50 last year. So now that I'm kind of looking at this whole picture instead of maybe when I was younger buying my first house, I can see that we are very cyclical. So our market goes up, our market goes down, our market goes up. And in 2008, yes, we know that our market went way down, but I don't think we're gonna see that happen this time. What do you think?
Nope, we're not gonna see that happen. We'll see
Why?
some variations. Well, because back in 2008, the bubble, as it burst, was because of poor financing choices, and people used their house like a cash machine, and there wasn't enough equity. Today, millions of Americans have significant equity, and again, you learn by mistake. They're not going to do it again.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they're treating their house like a cash machine, and we're not going to go through that.
All right, so whether you love it or not right now, this market, I still think that now is a great time to buy, now is a great time to sell. Whatever your needs are going to dictate that though. So our market at the moment for single family residences, our median home price is $460. So did you ever think that you would see that price?
That's crazy in Vegas.
Yeah, so but I saw a graph, I have not been able to find it, but this was a few years ago. I saw a graph that was put out by, I believe it was Fannie Mae, that if you took out the 10 years of the recession that we had, that our market would be trending exactly where it's supposed to be trending right now. And for us, that's great news because then you can kind of take a little bit of the worry, I think, out of what's happening right now in the market. So 460 is where we're at, but I think keep in mind that that's also all of those homes also that are up above $1 million.
Right.
So that factors into that as well. So are you still seeing a lot of activity on the mortgage side?
Yes, it's been down a little bit. Applications have been down because, of course, rates being higher. People are backing off or making decision choices that are either rethinking what they can afford or not refinancing, either way. But yeah, a little bit, but not enough to where, again, there's always going to be someone who wants to buy. There's always going to be someone needing to refinance for one reason or another. So yeah.
Okay, so another question that I have, I think for you is, I have a lot of people who are doing, they're talking about contingent offers. Do you have any way to bridge that gap so that they can maybe buy before they sell their current home if they have maybe enough equity in that property?
Yes. So what we've been doing is what they call, it's called a recast. And what someone would do in that case is if they can qualify, they're going to buy that next house with minimum down and then close on that house. When the other house sells, they take their proceeds, plop it down, and recast that mortgage we just got them. So they're not having to wait for one home to sell, take all their cash, and put it on the property.
Okay, and that's great news. If you do want to sell your current home, take that chunk of equity out and be able to maybe buy your dream home. So there are ways to do it without having to do contingencies, because I know right now that's everybody's fear, is that if you have to do a contingency, that your offer isn't going to be accepted. But I think you'd be in a great position if you say, listen, I don't need to sell my current home to buy your home. I would believe that that would put you in a far better position with a seller that your loan is not kind of, unstable, that you're very secure in your finances, your down payment, all of that. So there are ways to do it.
Absolutely. Okay.
Another question that I have been asked repeatedly is, are we at the peak of the market? Are we at the peak of the market? Are we at the peak of the market? And I kind of sound like what is that? Like one of those birds that just repeats everything.
Parrot.
Yeah, a parrot. So I'm asked it all the time. And the funny thing about it is, you never know if you're at the peak of the market. We're going to look back at this maybe 5 years from now, and then you can pinpoint, yes, this particular month in this particular year, that was the peak. But until we get some perspective and some hindsight, we are never going to know what that peak was. And so if you're waiting and trying to position yourself to hit that peak, good luck. It is probably not going to happen. Do you have an opinion on whether we've hit the peak or not?
It's undefined at the moment. So no, because again, we still have demand. We still have millennials in their buying age, which is the biggest sector of our population.
Yeah.
We still have low inventory. So it's really difficult to say. Now, I can tell you with the change of interest rates and the Russian-Syria war affecting our economy and inflation, there's some changes there that someone might pinpoint or be able to forecast, but there's no answer to that question. Sorry.
All right, so the point is, if you're trying to get the most for your home, you cannot do better than today. Tomorrow I might have a different answer for you, but today is going to be probably the best price in the Las Vegas market that you can get for your house.
Question.
Yeah.
Are you still seeing crazy multiple offers, bidding wars as much as you did in, let's just say, the fall or summer?
It really depends. There are still those homes that are selling at record rates. We're still even seeing our over $1 million homes, some of them with multiple offers, but it has to be pristine. It has to be spectacular. You have to walk in that home and your jaw drop to the floor because it is so gorgeous.
Right.
And in the lower end market, I'd probably say under maybe $500,000, under $400,000, there's still a really high demand. But I have had an issue here recently with people are stretching themselves to hit the top of what they're approved for. And what happens when you do that is when the interest rate goes up even slightly, you no longer qualify at the top of what you're pre-approved for. So then I've had this one house that we just listed, went under contract. We had 7 offers. One of them had put offers in on 10 homes.
Oh boy.
And so had already had another house accepted their offer. We had a couple of people who changed their mind because they wanted a pool and this house didn't have a pool. Another one got spooked, just because of the uncertainty of everything in the world right now. They decided they're going to rent for another year. I mean, by the time we got down the list of these offers, we were on like offer number 5.
Wow.
I mean, and this buyer is thrilled.
Yeah.
I mean, completely thrilled to be offer number 5. So, we are still seeing a lot of multiple offers, but circumstances change quickly in this market. Yeah. So if you're a seller, just know that this can happen. You may get a bunch of offers and still maybe only one will work out. So make sure that your agent is doing their due diligence, they're contacting the lender, they're seeing any ways that this thing can go sideways before it does. So with that being said, are you seeing that your buyers are losing out on a lot of offers?
I've had quite a few. we've been going through our clients from last year and contacting everybody to either refresh or reapprove them, because the numbers are significantly different with the change of rates back in the 3s to now we're in the 5s. So,
right.
Yeah, it's made a difference. There's some people that are just now out of the market, and some have had to redefine what they're looking for.
Right.
And then also we have to make sure that those buyers have enough money to, if it's needed, offer appraisal gap or offer for higher money to be the highest bidder above list. So yeah, we've had to just reevaluate. But you know what? That's our market, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if you're not really, in real estate all the time. I don't really think that people, a lay person would understand that this is what we do all the time. And that's honestly why we do these every single month, is because within, let's just say, that 30-day time frame, so much changes in our market. So today we could be having an amazing seller's market. Well, next month, we could be sitting here telling you, oh my gosh, there's so much inventory on the market. Our buyers have their pick of what home they want. And then if your home isn't completely redone, you may not get an offer on your home. So we really study the market, we study the trends, we study what's happening in even little different microcosms within the Las Vegas Valley, so that we can give you the most accurate information today. Now, it may not apply next month, but that's why we're here every month, just letting you know what we're seeing, and so that you can make the best decision for you and your family. All right, I am full of questions today, so my next question is, have you ever heard of a power buyer?
No.
I haven't
What
either.
in the world are you talking about?
So I read an article from Inman that said that power buyers are getting their offers accepted at a rate of, 1 to 5? For every 5 offers that a regular buyer puts in that's financed, a power buyer is only putting in 1 offer. And the reason for that...
And who are they?
Yeah, I want to know too.
Are we talking like the Zillows, the offer pads?
No,
Okay.
no. So we're talking cash buyers.
Okay.
No contingencies. People that do not have to jump through hoops to get a mortgage to buy a home. So these buyers are getting their offers accepted.
And we're not talking hedge funds?
No.
The hedge funders that are buying in multiple groups and batches?
No.
No? Okay.
No, because a lot of them are buying in, they're buying like fixer-uppers. They're buying different types of homes.
Gotcha.
So, no, these are just strictly buyers who have the funds to be able to make those purchases without relying on appraisals and lenders and your debt-to-income ratio and all of those things that sometimes by the time of the loan process, people are like, I never want to hear the word mortgage, DTI. I never want to hear those again. Yes. Interest rates, do not tell them to me.
Right.
So, are you in a position to be a power buyer? I don't know. Now might be the time to look at buying something.
And have you heard, speaking a caveat on that, have you heard of those companies that are backing clients with funds so they look like a cash buyer, but they're really not?
Yep.
Yeah. So I know that's a new category coming out as we're becoming popular.
Yeah, well, and I think that that's also even what you were saying with the way that you can structure a loan to not do a contingency.
Yeah.
So could that be considered a power buyer? I would think so, because you have less restrictions on getting a hold of that money to buy a home. Because the one thing typically that cash buyers do is they cut the seller off, sometimes at the knees, to try to get their offer accepted, but they're offering so much less money than a traditional mortgaged buyer would be, because they feel like that cash leverages them to be able to buy. And in this market, I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that cash is taken every single time.
Right.
Because a lot of my sellers are patient. They're like, hey, listen, we'll wait out the market. We'll wait to see if 30 days down the road they can get a loan for X amount of dollars. We have nothing but time. We have no problem waiting for that. So it's the people, I think, who are going to be more interested in taking those power buyers or cash buyers and maybe a little bit less off of their net. I think that those are going to be people who have to be somewhere in a certain amount of time. They have a family emergency. They have things that are happening that really are out of their control. So yeah, I think in this market, there really is a place for every single buyer out there. All right, so one other thing, where are you seeing out-of-state buyers moving from?
The vast majority is California, but I have also seen quite a few people from Idaho.
Okay.
Which is kind of interesting because I thought Idaho was an attractive state.
Yeah.
And people would want to go there. But depends on where you're coming from because Nevada, you know, you and I have been here a long time. It's a great place to be. So, what about you?
Well, so I'm having clients who are moving from the Seattle area that are moving from the Fremont, so what is that? East Bay, Northern California area, And then I have clients, again, moving from Southern California, but Chicago, New York. And I read an article here recently that said that people that are sellers in coastal cities or they're living in coastal cities, they're moving a little more inland because prices are lower. And so they can get a premium, you know, let's just say in Laguna, you know, and they can buy more of a house if they move to, say, Las Vegas. And so that is kind of a trend that they're tracking, is that coastal cities are kind of emptying out and, you know, they're moving inland. So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. I don't know why, though. I want to be at the beach. I mean,
I
if I'm
do
going to move from... I mean, Vegas is awesome. We have all kinds of opportunities. We've got the lake, we got the mountains, we got restaurants, shows. But if I was going to pick up and actually move, I'd want to be at the beach. It's just...
I agree. But I do have to say, I took my kids paddle boarding at Lake Las Vegas.
How was it?
It was interesting.
I've heard, well, interesting because fun or interesting because I've heard weird things about the water?
Oh, well, I didn't notice that, but it was fun for us. But yeah, it was kind of like a try and see if you could stand up. It wasn't actual stand-up paddleboarding, but we had a blast.
Oh, it sounds like fun.
Yeah, so I mean, you can find water in Las Vegas if you look for it. So, you know, you don't have to spend $18 million to go buy a condo in Laguna. So,
I gotcha.
Moral of the story. Thank you again for joining us this month. And that's all we got for you so far. But stay tuned because next month we're going to do some research and, fingers crossed, dive into the crypto conversation. So you will want to turn in to see just how much we don't know about this subject, or maybe what we learn along the way. So we will see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you have any questions at all, reach out to myself or Aundrea. We would love to help you find your home in the Las Vegas Valley. We'll see you next time.